On this episode of EcoSense for Living, we focus on green jobs. From green job training for low-income minorities to Fortune 100 companies doing the right thing. You may be surprised about how many ways you can earn a living while saving the environment. What is a green job? For the people of New Orleans, it's not just earth-friendly work, it's also a way to put green in your bank account.
When we create most things in this world, we have a cradle-to-grave theory, meaning we create it, we don't care where it goes. And for the most part, when we're done with something, we just throw it away. You know, there's this mythic concept called away. Well, where is away? Away is our backyard, and away is getting closer and closer to our back door. Looking at the concept of the waste stream, you know, it usually comes from rich folks who are done with stuff and then pass it on down the line. Well, when you're looking at where the end of the line is, it's usually the poor folks community. They sit right on the border of these refineries. They sit right on the border of these dumping grounds, these waste grounds, where we put all of our trash. Instead of allowing that cradle-to-grave waste stream to continue, let's find a way to have a cradle-to-cradle economy where we create things that are sustainable. We don't make anything that's not biodegradable. We don't make anything that contributes to carbon emissions. We don't make anything that pollutes the ground. And we make that as a standard. Green jobs are jobs that are doing two things. First, they're creating a social equity by employing low-income minorities, people who are traditionally taken advantage of in the old, what we call gray economy, and simultaneously cleaning up the earth and creating new opportunities by creating cleaner jobs. The Louisiana Green Corps has been working for the past year in the communities in New Orleans. They've taken a lot of our kids off the streets. They put stipends and jobs in their hands, and not just any job, but a clean and green job.
The Louisiana Green Corps is a civic justice corps green job skills training program for unemployed, underemployed, court-involved, formerly incarcerated, or otherwise disenfranchised young people, 17 to 24, living in the New Orleans area. And we do our training through the completion of service learning projects that have an environmentally restorative, green benefit to community members. Because we're working with a population of court-involved, formerly incarcerated youth who bring a slew of challenges to the table, what we're doing is inciting them to take part in this green building movement and to give back to their community through service. And what we're trying to advocate for is to have an alternative to serving time in jail that's actually more beneficial to the community, more beneficial to the individual, and it's actually creating a much greater return on investment than incarcerating somebody for a year's time. Overall, in the past 15 months, we've enrolled 177 young people into the program. We want them to take these skills and these environmentally responsible attitudes into whatever position they pursue. So here at the Old City Building Center, the students are learning about deconstruction and reusing salvaged building materials. So as you can see, this is a warehouse stocked full of recycled building materials that were taken off houses in the New Orleans area that are literally hundreds of years old. These are really valuable resources to the community. They would otherwise have ended up in the landfill. But now we're able to assist the community by selling them at affordable rates and also using them to build furniture, to renovate homes, and creating about $15,000 worth of sales revenue a year by selling them.
We started out as wanting to preserve what was having to be taken down here in New Orleans. The concept started in 2006, and it's been a build-up. And all of a sudden, we had always had a workforce development program in our business plan. And then the Louisiana Green Corps came up, and so it was a perfect match. I had an interior design firm and a small construction company. I still do, but I gave it up to come here. There were not enough qualified people to go in and do good interior jobs, finish carpentry, drywall, you name it, plumbing. Okay, so in my mind, the only way to get quality help was to start a workforce development program. So To me, I guess I was being purely selfish on this one because I really wanted to see people trained properly. In deconstruction, I'm able to take the product out of the house because we hand deconstruct it a little piece at a time, and we keep the wood intact, and then we can put it back into commerce.
I think deconstruction needs to happen to at least 25% of properties in any city. When you think about demolition, you look at a typical 1960s footage of demo in a building, you usually see that sucker drop in like 5 minutes. So if we're talking about changing those practices, because when you drop a building like that, not only are you having huge amounts of waste that are undealt with, you also have things going into the air, lead and all kinds of other things from the building, asbestos, that fly around the air. You know, what kind of species are we? Are we locusts? Are we honeybees? A locust would look at a landscape like this, like New Orleans post-Katrina, and say, oh, you know, I'm just gonna demolish everything and build new stuff. Well, a honeybee that's trying to make honey and trying to make something more sustainable and long-lasting would look at a property and say, well, what is salvageable?
Since we started, we have managed to divert 56 tons of building materials out of a landfill.
Another option for Green Corps members is the Alliance for Affordable Energy. Here they're trained to help people drastically reduce their energy bills.
Alliance for Affordable Energy is a 23-year-old nonprofit that was formed back in the 80s to be a watchdog and the voice of the little people with the utility companies. So one thing that the Alliance does is appeal to the City Council on behalf of the citizens for utility rate decreases or challenge rate increases. It was somewhat of a natural step for the Alliance to take on this LA Green Corps. It was a founding member of the LA Green Corps along with the Arc of New Orleans and the Old City Building Center, because weatherization is basically the demand side of your utility bill. So in order to get that demand reduced, we figured let's weatherize people's homes and help them in their utility bill. So not only is the Alliance working with reducing the rates, but also reducing the usage. So we want to increase the level of consciousness when somebody walks in, when one of our students walk in, to be able to say that, hey, this is obviously an energy leak. So we teach them how to test it, how to feel for it, how to look for it, changing the light bulbs, everything that's that home as an envelope, how to seal and protect that from the elements.
You sit the gasket insulator behind the socket plate, and this prevents outside air from entering the home on its own. Also contributing to saving money on her monthly utility bills. And just place it back on there like that. Even the average person could do this, as I like to say, average Joe. So, and my name is Joseph, so.
If you go into your house in the wintertime, even the homes you live in now, and you put your hand against that receptacle or that light switch that faces the outside wall, you can feel that draft coming through there. So if you add up all of those square inches, it's probably about the size of a huge door that's wide open. We talk about radiant barrier, which is putting a kind of a foil barrier up into the rafters that reflects the heat back out. That's one thing that can reduce your attic temperature by 30 degrees.
We'll help our people save money.
By helping them save money, we making money in the process, which is a good thing for both sides. Yeah.
Because ain't too many people out here to help us, so for to have somebody like her in our life is very awesome. Very, very awesome. She know we love her.
Caulking, sealing, buttoning up windows are a really big problem. And in this place, you have historic windows. This house is 155 years old.
Right here, we got an example of where a lot of the old glazing has fallen off of the window.
It's a huge advantage to the contractors, not just from the weatherization standpoint of view, that the new employees that we're getting ready for them can understand the lingo and understand what they're talking about. But we also do the socialization skills, whereby getting to work on time, dressing properly, watching your language, you know, all the type of things that you would take for granted, we put that into our program.
And it makes a huge difference. between the amount of moisture and hot air traveling in your home when you have even the minutest crack.
So a contractor can come to us and actually take a person out for 2 or 3 days as a job shadowing intern and get a feel for if that's potentially a good employee or not. 200,000 bills in utility bills a month in New Orleans. If you save $10 a bill, that's quite a bit of stimulus to the local economy.
How do you see the members coming in, and how do you see after they've had the training, the transformation?
You can see it in their eyes. I mean, they just they come in and they have this New Orleans look, which is you can kind of look through the back of their eyes and see this hollow thing. We used to call it the Katrina stare, which is going away now. But now we see a lot of life, and they understand and they feel this success, that they know things, and they can debate this at the dinner table with their smart uncle that knows it all from that standpoint of view. I've seen such bright-eyed people and wanting to go to work.
I learned caulking, radiant barrier, that's what's aluminum-like material that you put up in the attic. Right now I'm working on my barbershop, and I'm trying to make that energy efficient, and I'm going back to school. I want to use what I know from LA Green Corp, plus those degrees to help me further my business in making energy efficient homes and a string of barbershops. 4 months ago, I didn't know anything about energy efficiency. I didn't know what going green was, and within 4 months, the training and the knowledge that I know now can help me help a lot of people.
And now, corporate America. Guess what Fortune 100 company earns their green by being green? And with over 8,000 employees in North America alone, they have a chance to do a lot of good.
We've been in business over 120 years as a company, and we intend to be in business for the next 120 years and beyond. To do that, we need to really think carefully about what our footprint is today and how do we manage it moving forward. So we did a lot of work collectively as a company in all our business units throughout the world to understand what that footprint was. So for us, it boils down to 3 key areas. It's water, packaging, and it's energy and climate protection. We boil that further down to really looking at water as replacing the drops we use. For packaging, we look at packaging as having value for our future. And for energy, it's growing our business without growing carbon. So Coca-Cola is a company that, though we're large and though we're multinational, we're also local. We have a variety of different partnerships in the sustainability area. One key partnership is with the World Wildlife Fund. And that partnership is targeted on water and on energy. We also have partnerships with the Nature Conservancy. We have 4 active projects that we're working on with them in the U.S. And those are all projects focused on water replenishment. Spartanburg is the world's largest bottle-to-bottle recycling plant. The value that Spartanburg brings to our system is that it's bottle-to-bottle recycling. And bottle-to-bottle means that we are actually starting with food-grade bottles already, and we're converting them through a specific process that can then be turned back into future bottles. In 2008, it was 200 million pounds of material was recycled. And when you look at the Spartanburg plant, it adds a capability for about 100 million pounds of material to be turned into this specific recycled content. Every package we make, we see it as a value, and we want it back. We want it back so we can use it again and again and again. And that's good for our community, and that's good for our environment.
Our relationship with Coca-Cola began actually in 1996. The technology that we've developed for recycling bottles to bottles attracted them to us at the time, and we entered a development agreement that over the past 13 years led to a partnership with Coke. We're actually in a joint venture. It's a manufacturing joint venture to take bottles like you see behind me here and turning them back into Coca-Cola bottles again. Coca-Cola has been extremely interested in their environmental impact for many years, and they realize that that package is really made out of oil and natural gas, and these are resources that need to be conserved. These bottles are in fact a very valuable raw material, and they believe that for a sustainable future, the ability to turn these bottles back into bottles again is a role that they must play in the world that we're facing in the future. An interesting thing that people wonder about might be, where do all the bottles that are collected go? Traditionally, these bottles would go into things like fabrics or carpet, perhaps into strapping that's used in industrial applications, engineering resins for automobiles. But a segment that has not been as used is going back into bottles again. And that's what Coke wanted to see. They wanted to see a valuable resource going back into their bottles, and that's what this technology has created. So today, only about 16% of the bottles that get recycled here in the United States go back into bottles, and by expanding plants like ours, more and more of that will go right back into bottles again. And as we often say, that's called closing the loop. We're trying to close the loop and get these bottles to go around and around again. That's what creates a sustainable future. In 1996, when this technology was developed and we began patenting it, we extended licenses for these plants around the world. There are now 8 of these plants, and in the case of this one in the United States, we're excited to say that it is going to be the largest bottle-to-bottle recycling plant in the world. And that's 100 million pounds. Often that's hard to conceive about how much that could be. But today in the United States, 1.4 billion pounds of PET bottles are recovered, and we'll be doing well over 100 million pounds of those bottles at this site alone. The biggest concern that people might have is that these bottles have been collected from the trash system. How do I know that these bottles are safe and clean, because I'm going to be drinking out of them again? The first step we'll do is we'll go through and sort the materials out to where we have only PET bottles. Then we'll separate the PET bottles into clear and colors. And then next we go into our proprietary and patented process to eliminate the caps, and then to also do the special etching to remove the surface. And then we also do roasting. We're looking to take anything that may have been absorbed into the bottles, it may be the flavorants from the beverage that was in it, and drive those flavorants out. This is what makes the product pure enough and safe enough finally to be used in bottles again. I think we should all realize that resources in the world are becoming scarcer. The world is dependent on being able to use these resources more efficiently. A product that comes, that the bottles, the PET bottles that we recycle from are made from petroleum. This is a diminishing resource that we need to be prepared to recover over and over again. The reason we should care about doing this is the future of our children, it's the future of our world.
Large companies are not the only ones making a difference. These 2 small businesses show us that green jobs are not only good for our planet, but they're good for our health.
We started as Destiny Produce back in 2001, and we were a conventional produce distributor serving grocery stores, mainly the large grocery chains. And then after a few years, it became clear that there was a tremendous demand for organics, and we discovered that this was a direction that made sense for the future. We are a regional distributor. We serve 6 states, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and North and South Carolina. So we really have a special sense of loyalty and identify very much with our local farmers. You know, it used to be that the only distributors were regional distributors. The large national distributors and international distributors are not geared toward dealing with small farms and mid-sized farms. And so many of the organic producers are small and mid-sized farms. And so we see ourselves as serving a very distinct function in supporting small, local, and regional growers, and also being able to offer a distinct line of goods that we can carry throughout the region. So we feel that regional distribution is just an essential part of rebuilding local food systems, and there's a lot of talk about that lately. Destiny Organics employs 35 employees. This includes drivers, warehouse workers, and sales personnel, and office personnel. And I think all of us feel a very special sense of mission with this company because we know that we're offering something good to our community and to the region. And we also feel really good about the fact that we're the only produce house on this state farmers market to be practicing recycling. Our business practices are recycling, composting. This is unique in this area, and so we really feel good about our green business practices. I was not here when the company was dealing with conventional product, but some of our employees were. And I think maybe it was an education process. You know, it wasn't necessarily easy to make that switch because the conventional business is so much bigger. So I think there were some questions about, you know, why are you going from this huge high volume situation to dealing with this little niche, you know, what was then a little niche. But I think as time has gone on and the education has taken place and the employees have seen how this is a growing niche and it's really the way of the future, I think that everyone's just really excited about where we're going. The organic industry is exploding and so many more people are coming into the organic industry, and competition, you know, the more people are into the organic industry and the more demand exists, then the prices are going to come down and they're going to even out, and that's what we're seeing. There's really quite a broad-based clientele for organic now, and where it started just in a little section in the grocery store, now it's really mainstreaming, and we're finding that people everywhere are demanding good food and clean food.
Tell me about Pizza Fusion. Why is it different from other pizzerias?
Well, first of all, it's organic. All of our ingredients are organic. And we have gluten-free pizza, vegan pizza, and we deliver pizzas in hybrid cars, smart cars, and scooters. And also, we're the first LEED certified restaurant in Atlanta, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So it's all about saving the earth one pizza at a time, and the pizza's really good. Our tabletops are recycled wood. The bar top is recycled glass and concrete from Pizza Fusion bottles. Our floor is soy-based. We have 2-button flush toilets. Our blinds are recycled, made out of recycled material.
So how much does it cost to outfit this restaurant?
This costs about $500,000.
And how would that compare to, let's say, just in any other restaurant
Probably
in the same square?
maybe 10% more. All of our appliances are Energy Star. They're a lot more efficient. This is reclaimed wood. We use biodegradable material for our to-go products. This disintegrates more rapidly in the landfill.
How long do you think it takes to break down?
I was told 8 months versus 1 billion years.
And all your pizza boxes,
All our pizza boxes are made out of recycled material. When you bring your pizza box back, you get a discount because we recycle these.
How many of your customers bring back the boxes?
A lot. It's amazing. When I do deliveries on my little smart car or scooter, I see pizza boxes, Pizza Fusion boxes on the front doorstep. It's really cool. It feels good. Our bar face is bamboo. Bamboo is renewable. It grows very, very rapidly. Bamboo is very prolific. And our lights are fluorescent, uses a lot less wattage, and again, we're saving energy. And our menus are made of seagrass. Seagrass is renewable, just like bamboo, and recyclable paper, and soy-based ink.
So from all these energy efficient changes or things that you've implemented, what kind of savings do you have?
For a restaurant that has a pizza oven that runs every day for about 12 hours at 550 degrees, it's unbelievable that our electric bill and gas bill is only about, $1,500 a month in the summertime.
What do you think that would be somewhere where you weren't using all this energy efficient?
$2,000, $3,000.
And do the employees have to have special training to work here? What do they need to know that's different?
They have to embrace the green concept. They have to really talk about what the Pizza Fusion mission statement is, and talk about the menu, and talk about the food. And if they don't embrace it, it's obvious with customer service. So it's kind of a mantra for us, is to really hire people that are really into this concept. It's a stepping stone into their life also. I mean, we recycle everything. We recycle glass, we recycle cardboard, paper, everything. And I think before our employees worked here, they weren't recycling everything in their lives. Now they are. Before it was just going into the trash, everything. And I think that carries over into their life and hopefully into their next job, this whole process or concept about saving the earth.
I think that people are finding that it's almost a form of health insurance, and it's more cost effective on so many levels to use organic versus conventional. A lot of people are considering the hidden costs of conventional agriculture, the cost to our environment, the cost to health, and these costs have to be factored in when you consider where your food is coming from and what you're putting in your body. And we would like to see a future where organic food is the only food and where it's the mainstream, because I think that studies are bearing out more and more, and just simple logic tells you that the planet can't stand any more of a chemical load. You know, we can't stand to have any more chemicals in our bodies, in the soil, in the water. And so we hope to see a day when organics are everywhere, in every restaurant and in every school. There is a ripple effect that takes place when one person is inspired and tells another person, and this person could be an employee of our company, this person could be one of the customers that we serve. When they tell about what they know and how organic is better and how it's available and it's affordable, you know, and that creates a ripple effect, and it becomes more and more mainstream through every single person that we deal with. And so we may be small, but the potential is huge.